What we do is we help families primarily to do two things: protect the money that we work so hard to earn, and secondly, show them different ways to grow those monies. Outside of that, we also mentor people into entrepreneurship. But I don't want to make it all about us. Let's go ahead. I'm a PTR real quick. Let's just make sure everybody's in order. All right. And in this order, we will pass the mic around so everyone can go ahead and introduce themselves and we can get into this conversation. Okay. Um,
Add your link.
oh, yeah. Shane, Kanisha, Shawanda, and Diamond. Shane, Kanisha, Shawanda, and Diamond. In that order, go ahead and tell the people who you are and how they can get a hold of you.
Hello, everyone. So I am Shane, the negotiator, and I help individuals and business owners with proactive tax planning instead of reactive tax panic. So that
Mm.
means is that I help you throughout the year. The taxes, tax planning is not just one time a year. So I help you all year long to pay the least amount of taxes, to prepare for taxes when tax season comes, pay the appropriate amount of taxes, and not overpay taxes. So that when it's time to file, whenever it is that you file, you're not surprised with a tax bill, or be surprised that you didn't pay enough or you paid too much.
Mm.
Because the goal is not to get a huge refund, is to use your money throughout the year
Mm.
for the things that you might need to use it for. And I pass the mic to Kanisha. Thanks. Seasoned investors make knowledgeable purchases and investments. I take you through A to Z in the transaction. I am all things real estate. And I always say anyone could purchase a home, but can you keep it? So I hope you not only step into those investments, but more importantly, keep it. And with that, I'll pass it back to Dwayne for us to get it started.
I love
The song
Diamond's
"Let's Get It
tagline.
Started" just popped into my head. All right.
I love your tagline, Diamond. Is anybody can get a home, but can you keep it?
Yes.
That always resonates for me because it's so true. It's so true. You see people losing homes left and right. So yeah, that's definitely the flex. I just wanted to say welcome. We have Carmen in the room over here on Clubhouse. So shout out to Carmen. Carmen says good morning. So I'm assuming Carmen is on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So good morning, Carmen. Um, Maddie Harmony Lee says good afternoon. So shout out to Maddie Harmony Lee over here on Instagram.
Maddie Harmon, I hope all is well with you. I happen to be scrolling through the IG posts, the stories, and I saw that situation with your vehicle. I hope you were well. Okay. But thank you for being here with us. And we getting into it, y'all. We getting into it. Miss Hall, and to it on the computer, or at least remember which one it was.
So today we just pretty much kind of kicking it. We don't have we don't have an official title for today.
This is open conversation, but good open conversation, y'all. Good open conversation. Which one of these was it? Do you remember? There's a lot of them.
Right. I had liked this one that talks about the rappers, and also like this one that talks about everybody getting life insurance.
Okay. So
Every black person getting life insurance.
let me go up here to see if I can find that one, and we'll pull it up over here for the family.
But while he's doing that, does anybody have anything that y'all might have experienced this week that you guys want to just share?
Any wins? Any wins on the Wednesday?
Well, I got some. Not great stuff. I always have stuff that happens, but this morning actually, I was, getting dressed, and sometimes I'm on Facebook and I listen to like different videos and things that might pop up. So I can't remember who the name of the person was, but he was doing like one of those those side by side things where this young woman was ranting about a topic, and then he was critiquing what she was saying. So
Yes.
it was.
Time out. I think you're talking about one of the same videos we about to play. You talking about the female with the head tattoo complaining?
She had a head tattoo? I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, she had a tattoo.
Well, we noticed different things. The female with the head tattoo complaining about what her parents didn't teach her.
Yeah. I know she had a head tattoo. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
She got a whole half head tattoo.
I did not notice that.
I said a whole half.
I thought it was a whole half.
A whole half.
A whole half.
But half
That's a
her
good
head
thing.
was a tattoo.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Well, then I won't say nothing else then.
But good stuff. At least we're in an alignment
sync.
right now. We in sync. So we're gonna play both of those. But this first one, and to my speakers on the stage especially, we gonna get into this. I want to hear y'all feedback. But we talked. I mentioned this mission. I mentioned this some episodes ago.
Mhm.
But it's back again. I want y'all to tell me what you think.
And shout out to Diamond because Diamond actually shared this particular one.
Nice. Here you go.
As a race, what would you say?
If every black person got life insurance, like 200,000, 300,000, $400,000 policy, like every black person, there would never be another wrongful death by like any cop, any lawmaker, any person of any sort of power that wouldn't get prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Insurance companies hate having to pay. So they have got the best fucking lawyers in the fucking world.
There's one thing that you could tell black people as a race. What would you say?
If every black person got life insurance, like 200,000, 300,000, $400,000 policy, like every black person, there would never be another wrongful death by like any cop, any lawmaker, any person of any sort of power that wouldn't get prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Insurance companies hate having to pay. So they have got the best fucking lawyers in the fucking world.
There's one thing.
All right. Before the lawyers, y'all. Before the lawyers. They got the politicians in their pocket. The finance industry has two parts. Banking and insurance. Banking and insurance. Now, there's investment banking and banking and all that. And insurance. Those two separate wings of the finance industry. These are the most two powerful entities, I could say, controlling government. Banking and insurance. Beyond healthcare. You think the healthcare industry got some power. Let them go messing with the money. Nobody's allowed to mess with the money. Now, one thing I will say, it won't stop all. See, you got to listen carefully. You got to listen to the entirety of the message. First, if he'd just stopped when he said it'll stop all killings, I would have disagreed. But he said it'll stop all killings that won't be prosecuted. And that's a different. That's changing the message. And I agree with that. Because let me tell you something. As someone that works in the insurance industry, the insurance company does not want to pay out. It doesn't mean they won't. They don't want to. That's not congruent. That doesn't go along with their business model, y'all. It don't go along with their business model. Like, insurance don't want you to freaking, they don't want you to die, contrary to popular belief. They don't want you to die. Most times, if you, let's say you got a $250,000 term policy, and let's say you got that in your 30s, so maybe you're paying like, I don't know, $40 a month. Let's say 50 to make it easy for me. You're paying $50 a month. That's $600 a year. And you got that for 30 years, right? Truthfully, you're probably paying like $20,000 for the total of your coverage for that 30 years. But at any point in time, including from day one, if you die, they got to pay you out $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you to die. That makes them lose money. They want you to live so that they get to keep the money paid. Okay? So, why am I saying that? Well, if there's a dollar price attached to each of our melanated families, because we live in a capitalist society, so like it or not, there's a dollar amount attached to you anyway. And if you didn't know that, maybe that dollar amount might be close to zero. Right? But in a capitalist environment, everyone has a dollar sign on them. And the bigger your dollar sign in this type of environment, the more protections you have. believe me, the government does not want to. Well, let me change that. It is my personal belief that the government does not want to empower the black community as a whole. It is my belief that that is so. That being so, one of the best strategies I think we can take to to combat what we see happening in terms of black Americans being murdered at will in the streets by different people for different reasons and no consequence. And then we're left hoping that we can win a civil suit so that we can get some type of money, but that's not right. That's not right, because then what they do is they know that you need the money, so now they can buy your silence with the money, right? And attach some conditions. Hey, you will never speak out against XYZ police department if we give you this money. You know, like there's all kind of strings. But if you had $500,000 on that same loved one, guess what? You got enough money to go hire you a nice legal team. You can still pay the bills, right? And then you can still go get your settlement with no strings attached, right? But you're not just going along to get along just to get some kind of compensation. So I'll pause there. What do you guys think about that, man? Ms. Hall, what do you think?
So I have a lot to say, but I'll let the panelists go first. Go ahead, Shane. I see you unmuted.
So, I have another side to that too.
Mm.
Of course, yes, I agree wholeheartedly by that. I think it would definitely help us out by having that backing, and we all need to have it anyway. That those policies in place. I mean, we really do, but it'll definitely put a higher value on us. Whereas we would mean something now. Whereas as it states right now, dogs are even higher in the hierarchy than we are. Which is sad to say. So the thing that when I'm hearing that I think about is, okay, now because the police is definitely, it's a higher rate that they're killing us. So let's just say now you're starting getting policies and things like that. What is going to prevent them from making our premiums higher? Because we are least most likely to get harmed by the police or something of the sort. They can kind of be on both ends of this. Yes, it can start decreasing, but that's going to take some time. But in the meantime, will our premiums tend to be higher, which it kind of sometimes already is, because some of the things that disorders and ailments that tend to happen to people of color that doesn't necessarily happen to other races, where some of those premiums might be higher anyway. Would that make it give them like a green light to increase our premiums also because of that?
They could try, but that'd be illegal. It'd be discrimination. You're not allowed to discriminate based on race. We all know that different races may be predisposed to different ailments, but the life insurance company cannot rate you higher because maybe you are in said race and you may have a higher likelihood of whatever in your race. They can't say because of that, then we can rate that race as different. You can't do that. Legally, you can't do that.
Right.
Right, they can't do that, but they can find wordplay to kind of make you get, not be able to get those same premiums. Like, for instance, something that recently happened to me. Of course, it wasn't something in that magnitude, but I wanted to increase my policy, but then they found some mysterious something a doctor said in my file that prevented me from getting the premium rate, which to this day, they can't tell me what that doctor is, who this doctor is, and I don't even know, but they can find reasons like that to prevent us from getting what we need.
Well, if that's the case, then it's not necessarily an issue. I received what you said. You said you wanted to get an increase, and they found something, and they said that they couldn't give you the increase because of that something, right? So that's not necessarily the insurance company that did that. That might be the doctor that did that, because we also know that there's what do you call it? Medical apartheid. You know what I mean? Where we're treated differently. But the insurance company's job is to check your medical records to make sure that the risk isn't too high for them to insure you. That's just the way that it works with every race. If you have too much going on, they're not going to insure you because the risk that something's going to happen to you and they got to pay out is too high. The likelihood is too high. So they're like, no, that risk is too high for me to accept, and they won't insure you. But they insured you the first time, so whatever happened Must have happened after the first time, right? So the first time they didn't see that type of stuff and they insured you. Once you're insured, you're insured. They can't renege because they find something out, something else, years and years later. I mean, they got a 2 year window.
Yeah,
Like
how
if
do
they
you
find out
know
you
if
lied.
they're not giving you the information from that doctor? How do you know what they're saying is in fact true, or they didn't make it up?
Well, there's appeal processes. You can absolutely appeal to find out what exactly are you talking about. You got to tell me that. And if you're getting the runaround, I would suggest stop doing the talking and have a lawyer write a letter. When you get a lawyer to write a letter, all of a sudden, people who was giving you the runaround, all of a sudden, magically, they just get real concise with they answer. Make sense? Get you a lawyer.
Yeah, I mean it does make sense that I hear that, but it's more red tape that we would have to do. That's all I'm pretty much trying to say. It's not going to be as smooth sailing as it sounds. Yes, we still need to be doing like getting insured and doing all of those things, but it's not going to come as easy as we would like to think that that's an easy fix.
So I would like
That's
to
all I'm saying.
I would like to add to the conversation and to your point, and this is why as in our profession we encourage people to get life insurance when you're very young and you're very healthy.
Yep.
Because the older we get,
More
you're
expensive.
it's easier for you to get it when you're young. It literally goes through like in 2 seconds. It doesn't take that much time. The older we get, once we start hitting like 40 and up, oh, they combing through everything with a fine tooth comb. So yes, things may come up and it might be a red flag, and because the insurance company's looking like, okay, you're in your 40s, that's when more ailments are more likely to happen. So I'm gonna cross all my T's, dot all my I's, because if you drop down tomorrow, I'm on the hook for that.
Yep.
So that's why we encourage people, make sure you get it while you're really young. And this video that just played, which is something that
Speaking
Dwayne and
to
I
that.
have been talking about since as long as I can remember. If every 18-year-old, we put one of these, $500,000 policies on us for our children, our nieces, nephews, godchildren, grandchildren, whatever, that's the best gift that we can give to them, by getting them a policy at the age of 18 that's worth at least $500,000. I'm just using that for an example. Because at 18, it'll be the most affordable. They're super healthy. It'll go through in a matter of no time. And we all know most of the people that are being targeted are young black men. So like the video said, if these young black men, I mean, anyone can get it. Don't get me wrong. It's meaning a male or female can get insured. But if the authorities are targeting us, especially when we're younger, then like he said, if the insurance company has to pay out and that becomes a pattern, now it's gonna halt. Like, okay, wait, hold on. I don't like this. It's costing me too much money. So now I think somebody mentioned the politicians. Now the politicians gonna have to get involved.
They're gonna lean on them. They're gonna lean on them.
It's
funding your
it's
campaign.
It's gonna get real ugly. So like that's the real point that's being made. When we're young, is when we need to take this more seriously. And as I don't want to call us elders, but as the elders, it is our responsibility to teach the younger generation the importance of why we need to set these things in place from a very early age. Hey Kobe, shout out to Kobe on Facebook.
So I wanna go ahead and just, I literally just pulled up a quote right here. I did a quote as we were talking, just to see what those numbers would look like, right? So I did a quote for an 18-year-old here in New York, birthday October 22nd, right, 2004. So they 18 already. $500,000 of coverage, non-tobacco, $64.13 a month for the next 30 years. $64.13 a month. You trying to tell me mom and dad can't cover that to make sure that as this young adult is transitioning into adulthood and going out into the world to try to plant their feet and stuff like that, mom and dad can cover that until they start bringing in their own money. God forbid something happened to you. And now you keep that thing going.
I want to see what the annual is.
The annual?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we just got to do this. Hold on.
I'm just curious what it's going to be if you were to pay it annually.
$675.
Yep, you guys get that back to tax time.
$675. $500,000 of coverage for the whole year on your 18-year-old.
That's a pretty good price.
That's a damn good price.
We don't
Imagine
have.
having like a family of, like 4 kids or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's still not a bad price. Even if you do with each one of them.
Oh, we got a good question here. Somebody says, so I have diabetes and MS amongst other things. I know it's hard for me to get insurance. What insurance would you recommend? Great question. If you have those major health issues, right, there may be some insurance companies that may cover you. The ones that I work with will not. With those, the likelihood is extremely low. I've never seen it. That they will cover you with those type of issues. However, that's not the end of the world, right? Life insurance is in case you die too soon. Let me say it again. Life insurance is in case you die too soon. What do you mean too soon? Too soon before you save up enough money where you ain't got to work no more. Right? So life insurance takes care of your financial responsibilities if you die too soon. But if you live too long, life insurance can't help you today. That's where you need savings. So the reason why I will only recommend term is because term is way more affordable. Now, it's only for a window, right? It's only for a window. So let's say we get that 30-year term. And during that 30 years, because I'm going to have to pull it up right here, right now, during that 30 years, we also saving. So we open up some savings accounts, and we instruct our children to go ahead and keep putting money in these accounts. Now, maybe we gave them a little head start. Maybe you gave them a little head start, 10,000. Maybe throughout their childhood, you was putting a little something aside, and you gave them a little 10 grand head start. Matter of fact, that's not even realistic for most of the people that I talk to. Let's say 5,000. They was able to put $5,000 head start. This child is 18. For the next 30 years, if they was putting, what, 150?
Say $200.
About 200? All right. Let's say $200 a month into this account, averaging 10% annual rate, compound interest, right? 10% annually, which, I can just point to the S&P because that's the most common one, right? The most common one, S&P, that they've averaged double digits over time, right? But I'm more so talking about mutual funds, aggressive mutual funds. All right. So $200 a month going into that vehicle. By the time we didn't even plan this. You can't make this shit up. By the time the life insurance runs out, right, in that 30 years, remember you started them off with $5 grand, and they was putting in 150 every month, right?
200 every month.
Or 200 every month. Sorry, they was putting in 200 every month. By the time the life insurance runs out in 30 years, the investment account, you would have put the child and between child and what the parents started them off with, they would put 72 grand in that account. 72 grand over that 30 years. However, that 72 grand growing up under that 10% annual rate of return grew the money to $500,000. It's actually $127.01. So I'm gonna just round it down to 500,000, right? When the 500,000 of insurance runs out, you got 500,000 in cash waiting for you. Do you still need another $500,000 life insurance policy? No, you don't. You're self-insured, right? And that 10%, that money's growing at 10% of 500,000. What's that? That's 50 grand. So you trying to tell me that's 50 grand in interest every year? Income?
See, the question is this: a lot of people look at term life insurance as, it runs out,
Right.
right? But what we try to tell people is that life insurance. Think of life insurance as like college, right? College, you go to college for 4 terms, right? And it prepares you for what's to come after. It prepares you for, you go there so you can learn. It prepares you for your job so that you can be a productive citizen in life, whatever. Life insurance, term life insurance, within that 30 years, we're teaching you how to be disciplined enough to keep putting that money away. So that at the end of the 30 years, you're walking away with cash that you have access to while you're still alive, versus a piece of paper that says your family can only access this if you die.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? Like, I'd rather have access to something while I'm still alive versus, having to wait until I die so that my family can have access to it. Because the monies that you invest, you have access to it, and then because you have access to it, you're able to share it with your family while you're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do something with it. You can create memories. You can go on vacation. You can do whatever it is you want to do with that money while you're still alive.
And let me say one thing just to be clear, because I want people to understand. If that account was a Roth IRA that you opened for that child, you will not, if you take the money out before 59 and a half years old, they're going to pay a 10% tax penalty. But it doesn't have to be a Roth IRA. It can be a regular, non-qualified mutual fund account. Still growing at that double-digit rate of return. The only difference is in non-qualified is you pay taxes on the money when you go to take it out. The growth. So if you put in like the example I gave you, they put in 72 grand and it grew to 500. Well, you wouldn't get taxed on the 72 grand you put in. You'd get taxed on the 423 that it grew, right? That money would get taxed because that's new money. But we paying taxes on our money anyways, right? So it's still better than where you started from by a lot.
So I actually have a question to the people in the panelists, people on Facebook. Go ahead.
Can you hold that question real
Mhm.
quick? Because I just want to make sure that I address it, because sometimes I get these squirrel moments.
Mm.
So Carmen, just to answer your question, if you cannot get coverage, start saving. Aggressively start saving, right? Outgrow your need for the life insurance. You can do that too. All right, outgrow your need for the life insurance. I met a lady. She had I don't want to give away any details, but I met a lady. She was up there close to retirement, and she had a policy for like, was it 15 grand or something like that. It's like one small ones.
Yeah, like 20,000, I think. 15,
Yeah.
20,000.
And in how many years? It wasn't even that many years. Like 5 years. In 5 years, the savings accounts that we set up they matched the amount of insurance coverage she had, and she was like, all right, I don't want the insurance anymore because I'm self-insured now. And that made sense.
So then she started taking the money she was paying for the
Makes sense.
policy and just added into
More savings. Right. So let me pause, y'all. Let me pause. We got so many professionals on the stage, man. I cannot hog the mic.
Well, I wanted to ask everybody a question. To the video, it talked about, if everybody get life insurance, if every black person get life insurance, it'll stop them from killing us unnecessarily. So my question is this: why do y'all think? And this is for everybody. Why do you all think that more black people do not have life insurance?
Don't be scared now.
and speak truthfully,
Yeah.
if it took you a while to get it, share that and tell
us
why.
why. Yeah.
If you know someone else that hasn't gotten it, or it took them a long time to get it, please share. Tell us why. This is a learning moment, and this is good to talk
I'm
about.
going to share why I didn't get it years before. Well, 2 reasons why. For one, I always thought that, okay, I was single by myself, so the job, what I was getting from my job was going to be sufficient enough. The $50,000 that they give, like, that's plenty for people who's behind me. I see that's my parents or whatever. Y'all don't need no more than that. Then the other reason is, well, I used to watch a lot of Lifetime movies. And every time somebody had a policy, somebody, husband or wife, was trying to get it. So I was like, yeah, $50,000 for my job, that's all y'all need. And I'm going to knock me off real quick.
That's a good point. That's a good.
What is that? Conditioning. That's conditioning.
Yeah.
Wife, you show it to me all the time. She'll now be picking it up in the movies now, in the shows. She'll be like, look, babe, Look at how they brainwashed us into thinking the wrong thing about life
Wealth
insurance
building
or
and buying,
wealth
selling your
building.
home,
Right.
and all these different things.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is where, because a lot of us was raised right in front of the TV,
Mhm.
guess where we learned our decision making skills, a lot of us from? Right in front of that TV. Right? That TV is not teaching us how to do the right thing. They'll tell you to sell your house. they'll tell you the wildest, craziest stuff, right? Because they know who's watching this stuff.
Mhm.
We are middle income people,
Yeah.
poor people. Those are the ones that are consuming most of the TV shows.
I remember watching those same Lifetime movies, and a lot of times, yeah, like if it was like a big policy, like $1 million or something, the family was always grubby, and the family would it would always be a situation where they were fighting over the money.
Mhm.
They were scheming to kill in the '90s, especially. I don't know if y'all remember. See, I was born in the '80s, so in the '90s, Lifetime used to show a lot of movies that talked about children killing their parents to get life insurance, spouses killing their spouses to get the life insurance money, somebody treating a older relative really bad so that they can hurry up and kill them off so that they can get the life insurance money. And this is what we grew up in the '90s watching. So yeah, I was one of those people that also thought like, hey, you know what? Life insurance sounds like it's a bad thing. Life insurance makes you kill the people that you care about. And then I also thought that I had it at work, so it was enough because no one educated me on how much I need and what is it really for. I always thought it was just to pay for my casket, put me in the ground, the ceremony, and that's it. I didn't know that it was for more things outside of that. So again,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry. I got a couple of minutes, and I wanted to chime in. That's a great question. Why do we think people don't get insurance? And it's a plethora of responses or answers, right? One, some people are superstitious. They'll say that, oh, if they get life insurance, they're gonna die. And then some, me when I was growing up, the minute we had a child, my grandmother had the insurance agent at the house when we came home with the baby, and we had to get insurance on the baby. And so my whole family had insurance. Now you mentioned something, Chanel, when you were talking, and you said educated, and I believe that is a huge reason why we're not educated. I had no clue what insurance was for. I really thought it was for burial purposes only. I didn't think about covering bills for my family when I'm gone. None of that. I didn't think that if I was self-insured, I don't need to pay United, whatever the name of the insurance company was. I didn't need to pay them for insurance coverage. And now it just makes too much sense. So I'll stop with this. That saying that we used to hear growing up, that what we don't know won't hurt us, is a lie.
That's a whole lie.
Because what we don't know will hurt us, and we see that every day. Thanks for letting me share. Oh, and I was trying to remember the name of that movie, the one that did it for me. It was called Double Jeopardy. It was in 1999.
I remember that movie.
Yeah, I remember.
He faked his death. He took their son, and he had the woman pretend to be the wife to collect the insurance money. I said, y'all ain't about to catch me tripping like that.
I do remember that movie. I don't remember the reason why he did it, but I do remember him taking the son and the wife going to jail for it or something like that. But I'm sure life insurance was in there because in the movies they try to taint the wealth building process,
and
so that we don't catch on. So you know what I do now when I watch movies? I look at everything in the reverse. If they say it's bad, it's good. Usually in movies, right? We root for the quote unquote good guys, but in actuality, the good guys are really the bad guys, masked as the good guys.
Come on now.
That's how you guys start looking at movies now.
Come on now. They have you rooting for the poison. But listen, real quick, Shane, can you send us that on IG? Can you send me that link? I can't find it in my thread.
That's in the email. That's on Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
that
that
one's
makes
on
sense.
Facebook.
That makes sense. You guys looking in the wrong place.
But if you look in your email, I have sent it in the email.
All right, cool beans.
All right, so while he pulls that up. But yeah, again, I never knew. I always thought that when you die, your debt just disappears. I
Yeah,
thought
me
when you
too.
die, your debt dies with you. They like, okay, such and such is gone, so that's it. So that's why I didn't think that we needed like a big lump sum of life insurance. That was just something I was never taught.
All right. Yeah. Ready for it?
Go on, drop the mic.
Yeah, you ready?
All right. This is the next one, y'all. Please. This video may trigger some folks. We gonna get into it right after. And I'm gonna do it different. I'm gonna let y'all talk on it first.
Right.
All right. So listen up. Listen up.
Now it's 20 minutes. Are we playing the whole thing? Or just a few.
Nah, we
Okay.
don't need the whole thing because a
The
lot of it
gist.
is his commentary. I want to play what she said, and we can go through that.
And she would be a kid to me, young lady, definitely a Gen Z. She has some, definitely some words for the people that is her parents or people of her parents' generation. This is going to be interesting. Let's review it.
Now, I'm gonna give y'all a second. All right, parents of millennials, you failed your children terribly. Y'all literally didn't teach your children. You didn't teach them about financial literacy. You didn't teach them the importance of becoming an adult and the reality of adulthood. And it's not peaches and cream.
What are you talking about? First of all, now you black, so I'm gonna go there about the black community. Black people, most of them that in here in America,
I'm gonna skip forward.
had to get it from the mud.
'Cause
This
we
was
more so
getting a
wanna hear
job,
what she's talking
making sure you had food, making sure that was more so luxuries. Just to be honest with you, there's a lot of things that my parents and quote unquote outside of that. Yeah, there was a car that
about.
you're a little hard headed behind. Hit. You just don't want to. Yes, you
And like doing
All
listen because
Here
you
we
know,
go.
you
They're about
know,
to
you
get back
know,
into it.
because you got a smartphone in your pocket, but it hasn't made you smart at all. But let's continue.
y'all taught us irrelevant and like doing chores.
He gets triggered a lot, y'all.
Yes, you have to do chores in your home. Why? Because it's the okay. So y'all don't want to do no chores at all. You just want to just lay around and just dirty the house, and your parents are supposed to clean it up. You hear how entitled this current generation is? This current generation is the most entitled group I've ever seen in my life.
And not being combative.
Yes, you don't supposed to be combat. How you gonna be combative in your parents' house? That they pay the bills. If you want to be combative, get the hell out. And you don't have to be. You don't have to worry about it. And you're gonna have to follow some rules. There's rules everywhere you go, even in jail. There's rules.
Always being a yes man. Going out here to get a job, but not teaching us how to save money and how to budget our money.
Once again, you black. In the black community, saving what? What do we have to save? Paying all the bills in the house, putting food on the table, and all of that, and you did that perfectly. Savings is a luxury. And if we had a chance to save money in the black community, it's usually income tax time. So what could they really teach you about saving money? And because they couldn't teach you, this is why they say go to school so you can go learn something. Because I may not know everything. Okay? You live in the information age. Instead of sitting up here point blame about what they didn't teach you, why you didn't get your lazy behind online and start researching things yourself? Go to YouTube University. Take a course. Do something. You know how many things that I know now today that I didn't learn from my parents or my grandparents? My grandparents and great-grandparents and all of them didn't teach me nothing about how to start a business. They didn't teach me anything about how to invest money. They didn't teach me nothing about business accounts, personal accounts. They didn't teach me about the different ways of the taxes with the IRS. They didn't teach me anything like that. Something I had to learn the hard way, unfortunately. So I'm supposed to blame them? Or so I'm supposed to look at they put me in a position where I had the opportunity to exceed what they did. I appreciate everything they did for me, but your generation is the most unappreciative, entitled group I've ever seen in my life.
Not teaching us the importance of paying bills. Taxes. I could go on and on. But y'all
How can they teach you about the importance of taxes? I know good and well they tell you to file your income tax because black folks look forward to income tax every year, especially when you don't have to pay tax. I've never looked forward to taxes. At one point in time in my life, I looked forward to income tax. I can't wait. And
All right. I gotta pause, y'all. I gotta pause. For those who want to know, this is the Philip Scott Show on YouTube. The Philip Scott Show. All right. To my speakers on the stage, go ahead and unmute. And if you have contributions, I'm going to let y'all lead the dance. I'm going to save mine to the end.
Drop it in the comments because I want to
Yes.
know. I want to hear before.
And it ain't over. We got more, but
Yeah.
it's just that it's so much, right? I don't want to miss nothing.
Well, I'll go.
All right.
Being in that age bracket of 16 to 35, I disagree with her a lot. And she's entitled to her emotions, and I get that. I absolutely get it. There's a lot of things we weren't taught. But you can't live truth you don't know. And a lot of our parents, they didn't know. Coming up from that generation from the 70s and even the 80s and even some of the 90s, a lot of parents and grandparents were addicts. They were addicted to crack, and they were living in the streets. So some of the things that their parents were doing for their children, you have somebody who's in their 40s, setting up, teenagers with life insurance. They may not understand this life insurance or even the importance of it, and even the grandparents, they may not have even known. These are not people who, I know from my family, they weren't educated. My grandmother had a home. Yes, she taught my mom, get life insurance for your children, but she never said why. She never stressed the importance of it. And sometimes it's like telephone. Some things get lost in translation. For me, I didn't have life insurance because I didn't understand life insurance. I knew there was whole and I knew there was term, and it was confusing, and nobody ever sat down and said, hey, listen, this is the situation. This is what you should be. This is the different options you have, and then take this and do what you want with it, but it's not just our parents. We have teachers who knew this. There are teachers out there that know these things. They weren't teaching it. They weren't making it part of the curriculum. The people running the state programs, they're not making this part of the curriculum. If these were the type of things that were taught, say, for parents who were on welfare, if these were the type of courses that were given to them, again, you're teaching them things to set them up to come off of these programs. It's not just on the parents, it's on society as a whole. And one of the things that this, I guess Philip Scott said was, you could have went to the internet. We look up everything else. If you really wanted to know about life insurance, when we want to know the lyrics to a song, or where to find the best
Testify, sis. Testify.
We can go to Google and search whatever it is that we want, but we won't sit down and go to Google to search what we need to.
Yes.
So we have to start taking accountability. I remember one day, I'm sorry, I'm going a little long, but I remember one day my mom sat me down and she apologized. She apologized for not teaching us certain things and not, showing us certain things. And I was like, Mom, at some point, it's not on you. I recognize that it can't. I can't just say, well, it's my mom's fault. It's my dad's fault. It's my grandma. No, I have to take accountability for my part in it, or my lack of putting the effort into getting more knowledge. It's not just on them. Once you know, hey, life insurance. What is that? Let me go look that up. But no, we don't do that. We hear life insurance like, I don't need that right now. I'm not dying no time soon. I don't plan on dying. No, I'm not getting that because ain't nobody about to, cash out on when I die. I know when I die, that's it. We just, it's our mentality. And once we change that, then and only then can we move forward.
Agreed. Kanisha said a whole verse and a half, man. I can't disagree with nothing that you said. Right? I can't disagree. Who's up next? I heard somebody.
I see
Was that Diamond?
Yeah.
That be me.
Oh.
Okay, you go first, Shane. Okay. So yeah, that was actually what I was gonna mention earlier. Well, I'm glad you shared the video because it was did a better job than I was gonna say. So I mean, I honestly I agree a lot with what Kanisha just said, but I agree. I can resonate with both of the people. So what the young woman was saying and what the guy was saying, because it's like each side still need to take some type of responsibility for the role that they played or didn't play. So, like for instance, I know Kanisha mentioned you're in that age group. Guess you're probably in your 30s, but a 16-year-old don't know better yet to go out and research some of these things because they're still growing, they're still a child. Coming from the background that I came from with my family didn't teach me a lot of these things. And just like Kanisha said, they didn't have the resources. They didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. But at the same thing, the part that I still hold them somewhat accountable for, I mean, I wish they would take responsibility for the part in which you knew when you were going through it, it wasn't right for you. So why didn't you school me on this so maybe I can find a different path? So that's the part that I can say I agree with him to some extent. The part I don't agree with him is that he was being dismissive and I guess just kind of shutting down her points. He had an answer for everything. That whatever she's angry. She seems very angry. So she might have gone through a lot of things that she's angry about. A lot of other people like her might be very upset about things. The one thing I know will go a long way when it comes to people and issues is just apologizing or taking ownership for the role that you played. So the older generation needs to take responsibility for the role that they played or lack of, and then the younger generation, they need to take responsibility for the role they play in it also. Because yes, you can research things. This younger generation don't like to listen very much, and I guess every generation will probably say that. Y'all ain't nothing like the last generation. They all say it. My grandparents say, my mother all the time. These children ain't nothing like when we were growing up. It's always going to be something different. But I think to bridge that gap between that, it seems to be happening between old school and new school. Everybody needs to start talking to each other and respecting the other person's feelings in the matter.
Awesome.
All right. Wait, before I let Diamond go, I just wanted to say, Maddie Harmony, we would love to hear what you have to say. If you don't want to have your face on camera, that's fine. Once you press the camera button, you can actually disable your camera. But you got a whole lot to say in this chat, so I'm gonna need you to come on.
And have a conversation with
us. You two, the original Woman X, and add to this conversation. But go ahead, Diamond. Diamond, are you still with us?
Diamond might have stepped away from me.
I'm coming.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what I wanted to say is the word of the day is accountability. Yes, I feel like you don't know what you don't know. However, it's your responsibility to determine. You see what's going on around you, and you want to have a different life than your parents or those who had guardianship over you. So I took accountability and I said, I see my parents struggling and I don't want to struggle. So my route that I went was, very non-traditional than the average person. And I don't regret taking a non-traditional route. So even now to this day, I feel like, the behaviors drives results. And if people don't change their behaviors, then it's shame on them. So I decided to do something different, and I, got my credit score to like a really, really great place. I put my parents as authorized users on my card, which it really should have been the reverse. And now, just a moment of transparency, because they did not do what I told them to do. They have liens on their property because of neglected income tax. So someone said to me, "Oh, are you going to pay your parents' lien so they don't lose their house?" And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, it's like, when do they become the parent and when do I get to be the child? So yes, I can afford to pay all the liens off on the property, but am I going to do it? I don't know. It's something that I'm battling with, because it's like, if I've set you guys up and put you as is I'm trying to have these financial conversations, but you feel it's boring, and now you find yourself in a pickle. You know, if I feel like you're still not learning your lesson for me to just, you know, swipe a card and give you the money or whatever the case is. It's like, when are you going to learn the lesson and step up to the plate and take accountability? So, you know, I get what he's saying in terms of, you know, you have a plethora of knowledge at your fingertips, and it's up to you to step into the information and really be able to do the research. Because, you know, I'm on the receipt, the other end of it, and I feel like I'm doing what my parents should have done. So it's very frustrating for me.
Makes sense.
Now that can be a hard one too. I've experienced you from your side of things too, Diamond. But everybody did. I want to make sure everybody get they say so before I even start touching this part.
Can I just say one more thing? Because I would have to ask too. Now that you know, are you teaching it to your kids? Are you breaking that cycle? Because if you're not, then you're doing the same thing you're complaining that your parents did to you. Like,
well, I don't have children, and I don't have children.
No.
A previous conversation.
Not to you.
Oh, okay.
Not to you.
I was gonna say
to you. That's to the young lady that was
Right.
on the video. Yeah,
I was gonna say, you know, in a previous conversation, you know.
Hold on. Time out. One mic. We gotta let Kanisha finish her point before you jump back in, Diamond.
But yeah, like Diamond said, she broke that cycle, and you know she had to become the parent to her parents, but she did something about it. She found out about it, learned about it, changed it, and broke that cycle for herself, so that anybody that comes up under her, it won't be repeated. But you know, we can't just say you did this, and then we go and do the same thing, stick our kids in front of a TV or a tablet screen, and not teach them.
Agree. Diamond, what you have to add to
No,
that?
absolutely. I was gonna say, like, we had a conversation last week. It's like, you know, you have to be very intentional about who you're, you know, co-procreating with, and making sure that that person is equally yoked in terms of mindset. So that goes back to the conversation from last week. You can't just be out here popping out kids with anybody. You have to make sure that what's important to you is important to them as well, so that the kids are coming up with the right foundations and things of that nature.
Agreed.
Now, Ms. Hall, did you want to add something to this clip? Because you know I'm burning, right?
I did. So I just wanted to say, I think she's right. I think he's right. But the one thing that's lacking is that neither one of them is the catchword accountable.
Yes.
Neither one of them are holding themselves accountable. It's okay to say, you know what, our parents didn't teach us anything, but I respect them for what they did teach me, and it's now my job to do what they didn't do and make sure I don't do it to my children. And for him, he's not saying, he's only combating everything she's saying. Well, you know, you could have did this and you could have did that. Yes, he's 100% right. However, he also could have said, but you know what? I can see her point, because as a parent, we didn't teach you about savings. No one cares about why you didn't do the thing. We just care that the thing didn't get done. So I don't care that, you know, it wasn't taught to you, or whatever excuses he gave. None of that matters. When someone's upset, you need to allow them the space to be upset and vent their thoughts and their feelings. And then you say, okay, I understand where you're coming from. I agree with where you're coming from. Yes, I could have done X, Y, and Z. Acknowledge that before you give a counter offer as to what they could have been doing and what they didn't do, etc. So that was just my 2 cents that I wanted to add. Neither one of them was holding themselves accountable to their actions.
All right. Wow. I gotta say what I gotta say now. Since I'm the only man on the stage, this may be why I think a little bit different. But I really wasn't looking at the feelings. I seldom take into account the feelings. Feelings to me are like imaginations. They come and they go. Sometimes they're justified, sometimes they're not. They can't be banked on for me to take action on because they're unstable, right? Whereas the facts remain the facts. Logic is going to always prove to be the same answer every time, all the time. So I kind of take the emotions like the fact that people are like, you know, I me personally, I cannot identify with, oh, she's just feeling that way, so let her say what she says, because words have effects too, right? So just because you're in a bad, if I'm in a bad mood and I tell you, you know, some disrespectful things, I can't take them words back just because the mood changed now and I'm in a better mood, right? So we gotta be really careful, because this generation lean too heavy on how you feel, and then try to replace how you feel with what's supposed to be true, and that's not the same thing. You can never win an argument, or you can never grow with someone who thinks feelings and truth are tied together. They're not. They're separate, right? So I'll say this: my parents, they came up in a very poor environment, right? Like financially poor, economically poor. And they didn't know to teach me a lot of shit. They just didn't know. I used to hold that against them when I was younger because I didn't know. I didn't understand yet. My maturity was still low. So I used to blame them for not doing what I thought they should have did, until I got older and realized that when I was put in the same situations, I did the same freaking actions, because you don't know what you don't know. Right? But as you grow and you mature and you learn more, then guess what you do? Then you start teaching more. Like my children, my two oldest children had a completely different father than my two youngest children. Completely different father, completely different versions of me, because I matured and I learned some stuff. Can they hold it against me, the two older ones? And, oh, you were terrible, Yes, and I would sit down and have that conversation with them. I made terrible decisions back then based on what I thought I knew. I apologize.
Accountability.
Right? I apologize, yeah. But I was doing the best that I knew how. Now, guess what? My mother would never say that to me. Well, she might, and miracles happen, but I could never see her saying that to me. But do I need her to? No, I don't need her to. I understand it. And I don't need her to live up to my standard, because she lived through a different time with different obstacles in her freaking life. I'm not saying that all the things she did was right and exact. Some things she did was wrong. But if I go through life being mad at her, some shit, holding on to that shit, what good is that doing for my life? That ain't doing no good. Holding on to that old shit that's dead and gone already. The only place it lives is in my mind. So which means my mind is the place that need to heal and not the individual. My mind is the place that need to fix and not the person that I'm mad at. Because they ain't going through the grief and the drama I'm going through. Right? So yes, our parents didn't, and you got to understand, like, our parents didn't have no internet. They couldn't even walk and look a white person in the eyes going down the sidewalk. You had to step off the sidewalk. Y'all don't even understand we don't understand the environment they was in and so they couldn't think like we thought. I'm not saying that they're innocent, y'all. I'm saying there comes a point in time where you realize you're an adult. An adult means that I didn't have any control over my childhood, but I have 100% control over my adulthood. What am I going to change to make it the way that I think it's supposed to be? Now the accountability is on you. You can't put it on what somebody did to you before. Now it's on you. Now you have to do the work. And that's where a lot of people run from, doing the work. Because it's easier to point the finger at somebody else, because now they got to do the work and you ain't got to do nothing right now. And it's all about them doing the work. And it's easy to stay in that position because it doesn't require anything from you. But the minute that you got to do the work and mature up, now it becomes hard and people want to deflect from that. I know, I'm speaking from my own experience. So yeah, the young lady, she might be upset because she's now realizing how unprepared she is for the world. And that happens to us when we come out into the world and realize how unprepared we are. And we get angry, and sometimes we want to misdirect that anger. At who? Who's the only person that was in your corner feeding you? Ah, the parents. It's your fault. You didn't do this you didn't prepare. Maybe it's just me though. Let me know in the comments.
Carmen says you are helping in here.
Thank you, Carmen.
The original woman X says, "My mother apologized to my sister and I. We started breaking generational curses."
Ooh, see that right there? You might be the chosen one in your family, y'all. I had to accept that. You might be the chosen one in your family. Generations might have went by without the spark that you got. And for whatever reason, the spark landed in you. And you came out the womb and you looked at this situation and you was like, what the hell is going on here? Why y'all acting like this? And they looked at you like, what's wrong with you? Like, why aren't you normal? Why aren't you acting like everybody? This is what we do. This is what we live. And you was just the one that was chosen to just see through it and break those generational curses. It happens. And no, they never gonna see eye to eye with you. But if you stay the path, sometime down the road, some of them will come back and thank you.
So I'm not a therapist, but one of the things that I do with my children, I even do it with Dwayne. Every couple of times throughout the year, I would do a check-in, and I would ask my children, "Hey, you know, do you think that I am a good mother to you? Is there anything that I have done or that I do that upsets you or that you don't like, and you guys think that I can do better?" And they'll think about it and they'll check in and tell me, well, you know, one time they was like, well, you know, I don't like when, you know, you're mad at us about something and you ask us a question and we start talking and you cut us off and you stop listening to us, blah, 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 whatever. And I had to reflect on that. And I was like, okay. And they was like, yeah, you know, you're not listening to us, and, you know, we're not able to explain, you know, what we want to say, etc. And I felt bad about it, and I had to own that, and I apologized, and I told them that I will work on that. I mean, and since then, I would like to think, I've done a way better job at listening more than just reacting. Same thing, I'll check in with Dwayne, and I'll, you know, well, I don't even have to ask, because he's just very blunt, and he'll tell me, but, so I don't even have to ask him. But I say that to say, we're humans, and human makes mistakes. We're not perfect.
Right.
So the only way to know if we're doing something right or wrong, is to the best of our ability, is to ask questions, is to check in. Hey, do you think that I'm, you know, being a good wife, a good husband, a good sister, a good brother, a good friend, whatever the case may be? Is there things that I do that bother you that you think that I can do better? But I think a lot of times people don't probably ask those questions because they are probably afraid of the answers. But that's where accountability comes in. Now, if you're genuinely trying to build relationships and grow and right the wrongs that we do in life, then you'll ask those tough questions to get the answers that you need so that we can be better.
Now, I'll say one thing, right? And I'll say this, and I don't expect everybody to receive it. Accountability and maturity is when you reach the point where you learn that your healing is 100% your responsibility and your job to do, no one else's. Your healing, my healing, is 100% my job, nobody else's. When you can take 100% accountability for your life, you will realize you start having a lot more control of your life. Because when you don't take accountability, what you're doing is putting someone else in your driver's seat. And then you complain you don't like the direction that the car is going in, but you won't get in the driver's seat because you're afraid to drive. Well, you're going to have to drive at some point, and yes, you will make mistakes, but it's easier to sit in the passenger seat and blame somebody else for making their driving mistakes. If you understand the analogy I just gave you, you can set yourself free. I'm trying to tell you something special here. But it's Wealthy Wednesday, and I think that was probably one of my biggest jewels I ever gave y'all. And it ain't nothing financial related. Mic drop.
Just give it a moment.
Oh, man.
We're about to wrap it up, but I see Carmen just joined the stage really quickly. Carmen, you had something that you wanted to add?
Wait, we sent the request, but I don't think it brought her up. Hold on. Let's try that one more time. Because sometimes, you know, they get glitchy with us. There we go. Carmen is here. All right. If you want to say anything, y'all, because we went a little bit long
Yes.
on this one, but if you want to say anything, please unmute and go ahead and
Drop
put
the
it in there.
jewels.
Put it in there. It's Wealthy
Final-
Wednesday.
drop them jewels,
Add
final
to the
thoughts.
treasure
Yes.
chest.
Oh, we
Oh
lost her
no,
again.
she
Maybe-
went back down.
maybe
It was
an
probably
accident.
accidental.
Yes.
Yes. So all right. So we at that point now where
Yes.
we doing final words, y'all.
Yep.
We doing final words. I like this one because I didn't even think we was gonna end up going there with it. But I guess Ms. Hall, you got some final words?
I actually don't. Well, yes, I do. My final words is listening to this young lady rant, listening to what's his name?
Philip Scott.
Philip-
And we only
Philip
got
Scott.
5 minutes into it. It's
Listening
still
to
another
Philip
20.
Scott, give his rebuttal to it.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do differently today that you learned from this last hour and 10 minutes of being in this room? What are we gonna do different? You heard her, you heard him, you heard the people on the stage.
Heard us talk about life insurance.
I'm sure you heard your own thoughts in your head,
Mhm.
right?
Can't forget that.
So what are you gonna do different? We talked about a lot today. Are we gonna start taking action? Or are we gonna just be like our parents and just sit on the information and not take action? Or are we gonna be like her and blame our parents for not whatever? Start today and take action to make your tomorrow better.
Facts. Now let's go ahead and spin it around the clubhouse table. All right, we're gonna finish off the way we started. All right, Shane, Kanisha, Shawanda, Diamond, go ahead and add your last thoughts and let the people know how they can reach you. Oh, Carmen said she couldn't unmute. Hold on real quick, y'all. Carmen, this is what I want you to do, Carmen. I'm going to bring you up to the stage, and as soon as you get to the stage, I want you to leave the room and come right back in. All right? Once you do that, it's going to fix your audio problem. All right, so I just sent you the invite. Just come up to the stage. Hopefully you got it. Because y'all see what Clubhouse be doing to us, y'all? They be messing with us. They be messing with us heavy. But, all right.
Okay, she's on stage.
Unmute. All right, good. She did what I told her. Good.
All right.
She's going to come right back in, and that should fix her audio right now. Go ahead and unmute, and we should be able to hear you.
Are you able to unmute for her?
No, she has to unmute. She has to unmute. Huh. Interesting.
Yep. They messing with
They won't
Carmen
let
audio
Carmen,
too.
They won't let Carmen unmute. That's not us doing that, by the way, Carmen. I don't know what they're doing to your audio right now. But stop by next Wednesday. Stop by next Wednesday. We would love to hear what you got to say. All right? And right now, we're going to go ahead and close it out. But in that order, we got Shane, Kanisha, Shawanda, Diamond.
And if Carmen's mic can work, she can go ahead last. Go ahead, Shane.
Okay, so this was a pretty heavy topic. We ended with maybe something a little more upbeat. This is kind of heavy. It's heavy because it's so close to home for all of us on both ends of things. I don't have any children yet, but I'm pretty sure if I did, my kids would be just angry about some things that she might have been angry with. Maybe not to that extent, but they've been angry about something. Because there aren't perfect parents out there. So the only thing what I'm going to say is that I'm going to continue doing the thing that I'm doing, which is educating you guys. Because, the one thing you're not going to say, Shane never told you. But, the resources available that is out there, everyone can, be able to get it. You come to Wealthy Wednesday, you hear all this information that we give. You surround yourself with people that you can get this information from, and that you can be a better person. But the people who are hurt or healing or different stages, you got to be people about it. I know, after, listening to her, listening to him, I was triggered myself on some points on both ends. And, I still see a therapist and sometimes have to talk about things. So, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. And the people who raised us, they are not perfect either, and they make mistakes. We just need to give each other grace. That's, my final thoughts on that. And the last part of that is that, and even if you're giving the grace, the receiving end of that is people need to have, just as Chanel mentioned and Dwayne, accountability, and just apologize and really mean the apology. Don't just say I'm sorry. If you're going to say I'm sorry, do something different. Don't say I'm sorry and then tomorrow you do the same thing again. So that's my final thoughts on that. And for you guys to reach me on any one of my platforms, it's SE Negotiator, which means Shane the Negotiator. So SE Negotiator on Facebook, IG, and Clubhouse. I was trying to say in Clubhouse. It's the Clubhouse. And of course, my website is profitfirsttaxes.com, and that's PROFIT, and first like the number one, and taxes.com. And you can schedule some time with me. It's not just about taxes; it's about financial literacy. Periods. I know people associate me just about taxes, but it's more to it than just taxes. It's having your finances in a better place so that you can continue to have that, continue to grow and have that generational wealth. And so that you can start breaking generational curses also if you haven't been doing that.
Awesome.
And I pass the mic to, I believe, it's Kanisha.
I just wanted to say it's profit first. You got to spell the word out, just to be clear. I don't want people to put the actual number one. No, not you. I'm just telling other
To the people listening.
Yeah.
Yes. You're right.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Shane. Miss Kanisha from the West Coast.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I'm with Shane. It's a little heavy. I'm not into heavy coffee since early in the morning. I haven't even had coffee. It's heavy because it's a conversation that needs to be had. It's just how the conversation needs to be had. And I think this one, it just came out a little aggressive. And if you come up to somebody and you point the finger and you going rah, they're gonna rah.
That's right.
And so I just want to let the people know, be mindful of, your communication when you're communicating with people, because if you come at somebody hard, they're gonna come on the defensive. But again, I help individuals and couples get a money makeover, which includes credit restoration and an instant pay raise. I can be reached on all platforms as the Financially Chic Lady. My name is Kanisha, but I'm also known as Nikki. Either way, if you search the Financially Chic Lady, you'll find me. And with that, I'll pass it to my mother, Sharonda.
Oh wait, Sharonda, you sound
Sharonda,
really low.
Really low. Are you on the Bluetooth? Yeah, it's really low. You know what you can do? You can leave the room and come right back in. Sometimes that fixes any audio issues. Most times that fixes any audio issues. And you'll come right back to the stage.
And while she's doing that, if you guys want to reach Kanisha, you guys can click on her bio on Clubhouse. It'll take you to her Instagram page.
Awesome. Now let's see if
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
much better. Yep, we got you.
Well, first I want to say, wow. Heavy is an understatement.
Woo.
And instead of using or stating a quote at the end, I'm going to start with one. There's a quote out there from Martin Luther King, and it says, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." Our family and the people that we love matter. And so I know you said feelings are temporary, which they are, right? You feel one way and then you feeling better the next, and it's like an emotional roller coaster like you being, right? But here's the deal. When people tell you how they feel, those feelings are valid. It's how they feel. And so who are we to say that they don't feel like that? Not saying that anyone on this platform has. I'm saying that to say there was something that happened between my daughter and I. She was explaining to me how she felt, and I kept telling her, no, that's you. That's you. That's you. That's you. I'm not owning that. Right? And then she made a post. And the post said something to the fact that when people tell you that they hurt you, you don't have a right to say that they didn't. And so people are crying out because our culture for so long have been keeping things like under the rug, not
was just unfortunate that, you know, one was saying one thing, the other one was coming back, you know, as a defense, and they didn't have a fruitful conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Conversations are hard. They're hard to have, but they're needed. They're needed, especially when there's an underlying issue. When somebody feels as though you didn't do a certain thing that they felt you could have did different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to say thank you, because this has helped me to be able to accept the fact that when people tell me how they feel, their feelings are valid, and I'm going to accept that, and I'm going to apologize about the way I made them feel, because it wasn't my intent. It wasn't my intent. And so with that being said, I am Sharonda Harris, owner and founder of Black Unicorn Enterprise, LLC. I too help people get a money makeover, and it includes 4 strategies: reducing your taxes, lowering your bills, eliminating your debt, and increasing your credit score. I can be found on all platforms under Sharonda Harris. That's S as in Sam, H as in Henry, R as in Robert, A, W, N as in Nancy, D as in David, A, Harris. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Slow clap. Sharonda be dropping that knowledge and wisdom, man. I'm trying to tell y'all something.
Wait, Shane said, "Man, you should have went last, Sharonda. This is powerful. We need to end with this thought."
So yes, indeed. Now we are at Diamond.
Yes,
Thank you, Sharonda.
Diamond, and then Carmen.
All right. So once again, this has been a wealth of information and made, you know, for a thought-provoking conversation. So I think everybody has a lot of takeaways from today. You know, so one of the things that I was thinking is that you cannot, you know, unlearn what you've learned. You cannot unhear what you've heard. You can't unsee what you've seen. So it's up to you, when you learn things, when you see things, when you hear things, to take action and take the next step to execute and move your life accordingly in the direction of the information that you received. You know, going back to the topic of today, accountability. I am Diamond D Sales. That's Diamond DEE Sales on all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, as well as Clubhouse. I help individuals as well as, first-time home buyers as well as seasoned investors with the home buying process. I take you from A to Z, holding your hand through the process to make sure you make knowledgeable investments. I always say anyone can purchase a home, but can you keep it? You know, so I hope you not only step into those investments, but more importantly, keep it. Granted, if you follow the steps and the things I tell you to do, and that if it's not too late. I also spoke last week about a neighbor who was too ashamed to share what she was going through, and the programs and resources that I gave her, it was too far in the process for us to turn around and for her to stay from home. So it's about being transparent with people, you know, professionals on the stage, so that they can help you.
That's right.
So with that, I'll throw it back to you guys to close it out. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you, Diamond.
And Carmen, would you like to get in the last word?
Yes, there it is.
All right. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, indeed, Carmen. We can hear you.
All right. So, this is my second time being on. I was invited by Nikki, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Received a wealth of knowledge. I was taking notes, but here's my thing. I believe Chanel, is that your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Was talking about how you were in therapy, and you were talking about how you asked your kids if you were a bad mom, or you didn't want to feel like you were a bad mom. And I started taking therapy last year when I was after I was diagnosed with MS. So one thing that I realized is a lot of the childhood trauma that we experienced, we didn't know it was childhood trauma. And when I realized that, it made me evaluate how I was parenting my kids. And I was parenting from a place of childhood trauma. So if you don't know
that you've experienced childhood trauma, you'll think it's normal, and you will teach that to your kids.
That's right.
And they'll repeat that same cycle. So it's not necessarily that we're bad parents. It's that that's what we was taught, and we can't recognize what's childhood trauma if we don't go to therapy to have that figured out. And so now, after my dad had Alzheimer's, my mom, she's still alive, but she has dementia. And now, thinking back to how they parented us and looking back at their parents, it was just a cycle repeated. And now, I understand a lot of why we were either treated the way we were treated or just that whole thing. So I just want to tell you guys if you're not in therapy, get in therapy. We always think it doesn't work. It works. It definitely works. I went for one thing to get coping skills for MS, and a whole shelf of cans was open. But I'm able to teach my kids different. I'm able to love them differently, because a lot of our parents had love, but they didn't receive true love because they didn't know what it was. And I truly believe that things happen for a reason. This was a heavy, I don't even want to say it, heavy, a much needed conversation for somebody or all of us on this platform. God don't do things just to be doing it. He said he know how to set us up. So that's all I wanted to share.
Well,
and thank you guys for this platform. I would definitely be back Wednesday.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Carmen.
Thank you, Carmen.
That was, yes.
It was worth the wait.
And you actually gave me a thought for possibly next week's Wealthy Wednesday, mental health in the Black community.
Oh, yes.
Because we can't pursue wealth if our mental is all jacked up.
Ooh.
Come on now. You know how I just be flowing with this. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, I. Go ahead.
I just be flowing, right?
Go ahead.
Like, that's my bars for today. That was my bars.
Love it. So, family, listen. This has been an amazing Wealthy Wednesday. It was taking some. I'm glad we didn't even name this one. See, God don't make mistakes, man. Because we didn't know which way it was gonna go, and it was good that we didn't put.
It was called "Speak from Your Heart."
Yeah, it went right where it was supposed to, and did what it was supposed to do. Come on now, I'm trying to tell you. So look, like what Carmen said, man. I believe one thing. I'm gonna drop this drill. One thing I do agree with, and in all seriousness, if you Black in today's world, you need therapy. If you've never been a therapist before, it's nothing to be afraid of. My first encounter with therapy was me going to that. Well, outside of marriage, couples therapy, which was different. That was just us arguing in front of somebody else, right? But I'm talking about like real therapy, like individual therapy, right? Where you go into that closet, you go into that closet where you got them skeletons, right? And there's some of them in there rotten, you don't even know it, right? And it's stinking up your whole house, but you just scared to open that closet door. I went to prove to Chanel that she was wrong, and she said, "Babe, this after I went to war 3 times." She said, "Babe, you need to go see a doctor. You need to see somebody, talk to somebody." I'm gonna go prove you wrong. I went up in there to prove her wrong, and years later, I was still there. Like, damn, I didn't realize I was this messed up. Right? I can laugh at it now, but it wasn't a laughing matter before. So I will co-sign that 1,000 times. Melanated people, Black people, whatever you describe yourself as, right? You know what I'm talking about. If you live in today's world, you need some counseling, because there's some part of you that needs some healing. Believe that. It's unavoidable in today's environment. And you know what? If there's nothing there, then no harm, no foul. No harm, no foul, right? But if there is something there, then you need to take care of that, right? So if you feeling a hesitation, that's because mental illness is the most insidious type of illness. It's an illness that has its own immune system. and its immune system is the voice that talks to you in your head, convincing you not to do the things you need to do to kill it. I don't need no counseling. I'm good. That ain't my problem. That's their problem. You make up all these excuses. It ain't really you. It's the sickness trying to defend itself because it knows that the minute you drag it out into the light, it's going to die. Right? So it needs to stay in the darkness of your mind so it can keep operating dysfunctional. And I ain't going to overtalk it. So with that being said.
I definitely want to continue this next week.
Yes.
Because this segue, I have so much I want to add. But yes, let's definitely.
Part 2?
Yes. So when this call is done, I'm going to put next week's topic. What is it? Mental health in the Black community. That's going to be for next Wednesday.
Invite your friends.
So yes, invite some people. We're going to put a blast out because I want to get some more people in the room to shed some more light on this topic.
Yes. Yes,
So,
indeed. And
that is my ad.
No, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay. Without further ado, we always do a Black business shout out. Sometimes I forget, so please, family, don't murder me. All right, I'm only human. But today is my favorite nonprofit, the Unity Walk, the Unity Walk, the Unity Walk. All right. Check them out. The website, theunitywalk.com, www.theunitywalk.com. It is a nonprofit organization, Black owned, Black run, and they feed Black families in every state around the United States. All right. And $20 feeds an entire family. I've been talking with the founder, and he says that $20 feeding a family is looking really, really skinny right now. Right. So 25 maybe to do what 20 used to, but any amount, even $1, helps to get towards feeding another family. All right. So shout out to the Unity Walk. Shout out to the Unity Walk.
Nice.
And yeah, and we will see you guys on the next Wealthy Wednesday. I'm telling y'all, man, this was so heavy. I'm gonna go back and watch it because I can't really enjoy it when I'm the one talking the way I would when I'm just listening. So
and we're also looking for veterans. If you guys know any veterans, we are looking for veterans to work with us. So if you guys know any veterans, please send us our information, tag us, or whatever the case may be. We're sponsoring veterans for the month of November, where we will pay for
their licenses
to come work with us. So,
and this is in the field of finance. Okay?
Please spread the word.
Please spread the word. All they will need is their document showing that they got an honorable discharge from the military, and I will take it from there. They can reach me. They can shoot me an email. At
Wealth Empowerment.
Yes, wealthempowerment98@gmail.com. So that's wealthempowerment98@gmail.com. You can send me their resumes there. I will reach out to them and explain to them what we're looking for. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Everybody.
On that note, I'm about to go eat.
Have a wealthy Wednesday, and I'm hungry too, so I'm gonna see what she's eating,
Peace,
and I'm gonna have some of that. Closing out Clubhouse family. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Have a productive day. Closing out the Clubhouse.
The Clubhouse.
Yep, the Clubhouse.
So on, everyone.
Shame ruined it forever. The Clubhouse. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Bye.